Welcome to the creative side of things,
where we empower and inspire business owners and entrepreneurs to tap into their inner creative,
from standing out in saturated markets
to debunking and challenging the status quo.
We'll learn firsthand from actual small business owners how they've applied creativity, imagination, and common sense to grow their businesses. I'm Javier, Chief Creator and founder of High Ground Creative.
And I'm Megan, founder and CEO of Cheek & Co Clothing.
I'm Gen X and her dad.
I'm Gen Z and his favorite daughter.
Oh, that's debatable.
Well, it's not up for debate. Together we are creative thinkers,
design experts,
branding gurus,
imagination igniters,
and coffee addicts. Keep listening and we'll prove it to you.
Hey, you might learn something.
Imagine that.
Ready?
Let's get creative. Recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Episode 4.
We are here. Megan, this is a milestone we have here today. A major milestone in this little endeavor we're partaking in.
Because today is our first guest of many, but we had to start off with a bang. So I'm really excited for today's guest.
I'm going to introduce to you this person. Well, before we get started. So today it's going to be a little different than we've seen before. And you're going to see more of this. Like Megan said, we're going to have a guest today, our first guest. There is an empty chair here for a reason, because it will be filled by a very important person to me, and who's making some really funny faces right now. So before we get started, Megan, we've done a few episodes together already. We have some chemistry going.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I found out that you were funny.
Oh, wow. You've just realized? Oh,
yeah, that's what your mom tells me.
Oh, okay. So,
and
all right.
And I like that because...
and you touch the mic a lot, so...
And I touch the mic a lot. That's what my wife tells me. Please comment and let us know if that's the case. And maybe we can start a counter about how many times Javi touches this stupid microphone.
Yeah. I feel like it like once I say it, then now you're touching it. Like you weren't touching it at all.
Sorry. All right.
But so today isn't necessarily like a topic, but we are introducing someone super awesome. And if you wanted to go into just a quick, because you know him more than I do. And I'm going to get to know him now with him being our first guest.
Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, this gentleman, his name, which I'm going to say in a few minutes, he is the CEO, founder of UnleashU Now. This is not just an organization, it is a movement, and it is more than a movement. UnleashU Now is a family. It is, you need to look them up. You'll hear more about this as we get into this, but let's get into it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Fabber. Come on in. This one. Yeah.
We'll hear it.
And he managed not to trip over the millions of cords that we have down here. I purposely made some of these cords white so that we
can see them, because you've tripped over lots of cords.
I still trip over
until we switch them to white cords.
Right. Is he? Oh, look! You can see.
And the hat. Oh my gosh, the hat is looking bright.
It's looking really good.
I love it.
So you see all these cameras and all these things. We just, we feel it's a little more interesting if we change the position of the cameras. So Michael Fabber, welcome.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Michael, Megan, Michael.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
We just had lunch together.
We did. So we found out all kinds of things about Michael that I thought I knew him so much, but so many new things. That's another episode we won't dive into today, but because there's so many things I want to talk about here. So how do you want to start this?
So we would love to hear how you got into UnleashU. So if someone doesn't know who you are, how would you explain it?
Oh, man. That's a good question. How much time we got? How long is this thing?
30 seconds on the clock.
All right. The short answer, I was lost and then I was found.
Love that.
All right. And then it was everything that I thought my life was about, what it wasn't supposed to be. It meant nothing. And I didn't want my life to mean nothing. And I didn't want to do the journey alone, because that's not what we're meant to do. So after being like a suicidal maniac and being really good at building businesses, but not really good at building myself or community, I decided to build myself and community. The easiest way to build us is by building us with others. I think we do that faster and stronger right? If we do it together.
Yeah, we just had, I think our first episode was about community. So important.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what about the name? I was very curious of that.
So it was weird. The first run at this was really called CMF, and I didn't want it to be named about me because it wasn't about me. It was about us. So when I was young, I followed what everybody else did. It was like Tony Robbins and Eric Thomas and John Maxwell, and everybody has their company named after them. So I was like, this is what you're supposed to do. And halfway through, I was like, what happens if something happens to them?
Yeah.
Does it all just end? Like everything that meant everything is gone?
Where does the legacy go?
Right, exactly. Like it meant nothing, then it's over. You made it about yourself. So I was sitting in a room with like 5 other guys, and they were like, what do you want? Like, what does it mean? What happens with you guys? And it's like, we have to like detach from everything, like our family traditions, cultural, society norms, the things that we use to hold us back, our story, right? Like I got in trouble when I was young, so that meant my life was over, right? But it's not. Right? So it's those stories we hang on to that hold us back. Mm-hmm. And it was unleashing from those and becoming. I
love that.
Right? And being willing to be yourself and be seen as yourself. That was such an important thing. Being willing to be seen as you. Sounds easy, but it's super hard. Like hide pieces of us all the time. And then the story about the tree. When was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago or now?
Oh, yep.
Right? So it's UnleashU Now.
So true.
UnleashU Now. I love that. So there's some parallels here in regards to the purpose of the podcast, which is empowering and inspiring entrepreneurs and business owners. That's a big thing that you do.
I love it.
And tell us more about that. I know that we started about community, and we UnleashU Now, why it got started. But tell us what else that people need to know about UnleashU Now.
Well, I mean, really, it started because I wanted to end suicide and self-injurious behavior. That's why it started. But I can't, if I try to do that by me going around and talking to you and then talking to you and then talking to her and then talking to him over there, I would die way before that would happen. So it was, what do I know? I've been in entrepreneurship now over 20 years. I love entrepreneurship, and I think the people that really change the world, that the ones that make a huge difference in this world, are entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial spirit. Right? I don't think it's governments. I don't think it's organized religions. Right? I think the people that are willing to see a problem and bet on themselves to solve it for someone are the people that change things.
Yeah.
So if we could help them do better, right, they're going to impact more people. Theoretically, then, I was a criminal, so we can take your numbers and say that we impacted more people because the ripple effect of it. And that's why we went to work with the people that truly make the difference and the change.
Awesome. So that's like your why then?
Yeah.
Like you would say that is your why.
Yeah, I lost a couple of people to suicide that were dear to me. My brother's one of them. He's one of the 22 a day that served the country and took his own life. And then in 2011, when I went through what made me freak out was one of my best friends took his own life. And I was hitting fake golf balls in my yard. So when I was younger, I was really good at making money, but I wasn't really good at making a difference. I know it was a problem. And I had all the fancy stuff, so I was hitting fake golf balls in my yard, which did not make me better at golf, right, and meant nothing. And my buddy called me, and he said he had a fight with his wife. And I was like, who doesn't, right? Like, just go home. And the next day I got the call that he was gone. I was just like, man, right? Like, my whole studies has been human behavior, right? Like, and I totally disregarded everything about it. So I had a nervous breakdown kind of, and ended up on the beach in Lewis with a gun in my mouth and wanted to end it, and then didn't because of my daughter. And then hitchhiked across the United States and disappeared and had a missing person report for me and ended up in Mobile, Alabama. And there's probably, that's why you said there's nice people in Alabama. I said, I missed that part of Alabama. I was in a weird part of Alabama. And I thought of a question someone asked me. They said, did anyone breathe easier because you existed? And at that point in my life, I didn't know the answer. Right? Like I didn't know a single person that breathed easier because I was here. So after that point was every day I was going to make someone breathe easier because I was here.
Oh,
wow.
That's what we do.
Well, we're so happy you're here today.
Me too. Life's better.
And honored to have you on the podcast.
Life's definitely better.
That is absolutely amazing story.
Incredible. And I'm trying to stay, I'm trying to keep from not saying a lot because I am involved in UnleashU Now, part of the mastermind in the family and in the community.
We love you.
So, and we love you too. I love you too. And this is so special to have you here. But I'm in it a lot. So there's things I can share, but I want our audience and our fellow creatives to hear from you, not from me about you.
Oh, nice.
This is why I'm kind of staying reserved.
One thing
you would say it nicer.
One thing I saw when we were talking about UnleashU is it said you guys, what stood out to me was you said the box doesn't exist. So instead of thinking outside the box or fitting in, there's no box. And I wanted you to kind of like explain that because it was like mic drop when I read that. I love that.
It stopped.
Yeah, I was like,
I was reading to her the little stickers that the mission and the vision of UnleashU Now, and literally stopped her. She's like, whoa.
Right.
I was like, wait, there's no box?
Yeah, right. No, that's one of my favorite lines because all too often, whatever way you talk about that, it is about control. It's either controlling you to stay in that thing or telling you to get out of it because that's where I want you. It's all about where they want you. So rather than figuring out which side you're going to fall on, just know there is no side. Pick yours, right? You get to decide your box. If you're in it, you're out of it. Like you get to pick all of it. Like there's no box. It's whatever we create. So I didn't create a box. I created a circle.
I love it. This morning at Master Networks, Frederick said, opportunities don't come to you, you create opportunities. I think that fits right into what you're saying. That you have full control, like full circle.
100%.
And we have that choice. We can choose to make excuses or reasons not to, or whatever 100%. That circumstance, to create a better future or reinvent ourselves. We talked about this, about my past and reinventing myself.
And branding you.
And branding, yes.
And not your business.
Right. So
that's why I want to get branded.
Literally. New service.
I'm still like a virgin in the branding. I don't have any tattoos. 52 years old and not having any. Maybe I might just.
We gotta catch up.
I got more than.
Yeah, my daughter's got a few. That's a whole story there with how that came about. So
I can't wait for that episode.
But with so when you were talking about naming it and you didn't want it to stick to one person, how do you go about still branding yourself without kind of crossing that boundary of like, but keeping it a community, but also when they think UnleashU, they do think you too. So it's like for someone listening who might be struggling with that, like I want to build a community, but I also want to brand myself. Like if you have any advice for someone.
That's a great question. A couple things I stay true to, right? Our core values and our culture. Right? There's two things I'm going to stay true to. So you could see me, and I look very different than a lot of people, but I look very different. In UnleashU Now, everybody, you don't see, this is a fit, right? It's like this, it's a belief, right? Like that you're meant for something more, right? That you're here for a reason, a purpose, right? And it's about not just money, it's about impact, right? We believe in impact to income. And so when we're doing that, we do a really good job of saying, this is what I believe, right? This is me. But that doesn't mean we don't necessarily want you to be me. We want you to be you, right? So everybody stands on their own. And that's why culture, like part of our core values is about your own identity, right? Pave your own identity. What is your identity? What do you go by? What do you do? What do you?
Because everyone's different with it. I mean, there's so many different types of business owners in that group. Like it is so diverse. So if you were too structured, it wouldn't help everyone because it's going to apply. I mean, and age differences and everything. So it's definitely.
I remember one of the first questions I asked Michael when after I joined the mastermind, but I was like, okay, this is something I want to do. It's like I'm trying to find my place here, and very quickly it's like you have a place here. Right. You're already here, and I'm like, and so that was me being just getting out of my head, but there is a place for everybody here, and within this ecosystem, I'm creating a footprint, but there's enough place for everybody's footprint. Right. And that's what I love about that.
That's exactly what I thought of when she asked the question or when we were having the conversation was that moment when you were like, I'm not a coach. I'm like, you have a lawyer, an accountant, a bookkeeper. Like there's a bunch of people in here that aren't coaches.
Well, he's that was nicer than the way he said it. He's like, I'm not a coach. He's like, yes, you are a coach. I'm not a coach. He's like, yes, you are. He goes, if you frickin' say that you're a consultant, I'm going to punch you through. So so he did it in a loving way.
Coaches.
He did it. That's right.
We're all coaches.
Look, I learned from Megan every single day.
And vice versa.
He's a coach. You guys are coaches.
And I'm hopefully I'll tell you a lot of things. I don't know if she listens to all of them, but
I do.
A few things.
She listens. She might not agree, but she listens.
But we're for this podcast, we're kind of realizing, this is how you create a community, because even though we each have our own communities, we're building one together. So I was really excited to have you as our first guest, because almost to learn while I'm like having you as a guest of how to build that community of this, podcast community, because I want it to be very similar, as in, doesn't matter who you are and there's no box. So you're just welcome here and we're glad to have you here.
And everybody can have a role.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like a piece.
Yes.
Everybody wants to. When you let someone take ownership of something and like have their piece of it, they treat it different.
Yeah.
So when you give people a piece of community and say, this is your role in it, like even if it's just loving on people, like caring about people. Brent Schott, he's here. He's in UnleashU Now. And like his big role for a while was just loving on people. But that was his role. He loved it. Right? And he became more and more part of it because he had that role. When you let people have a role in your community and in your culture, they feel like it's theirs. And that's what you want. You want them to have some ownership because you care.
That welcoming feeling is so important for a community.
And the thing is, you feel it, and it's because it's true and it's real. When it isn't, it doesn't. But it's genuine. That's what I love about it.
Right.
I'm going to, we're playing here like our podcast. You're going to start seeing that I'm kind of the play-by-play guy, and she's a color commentator.
All right.
And then maybe the role switches.
Yeah. I like it.
But in the spirit of the creative side of things, which we're here to empower and inspire business owners, entrepreneurs, or even folks that have the entrepreneurial spirit, that they might be in a situation where they have a job and they're trying to find a side hustle or do something. You're included in this. This is not excluding anybody. I'm going to ask you kind of a structured question it's going to create, pun intended, in your mind. You don't have to use your imagination and creativity to answer. But tell us an instance where you had to be creative and use your imagination to solve a problem or a situation, ... All
right, that's a good one. My mind immediately went to the book I never wrote.
I feel like we all.
And he has written a book. He's written a few books.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We were trying to, when you're in marketing, you try to do something a little different because then you can market easier.
Yeah,
right? You make
stand out.
Yeah, you make marketing easier the more different it is. Right. The more it is in common with everything else, the harder it is. Right. You have to almost be more creative, or you price bargain or figure out. And when I did books, I did everything. My first book, I sold it like a regular book. Right. It was a $14.97 book. Order it. Cool. The second one I did free, pay shipping, and I used that more as a lead gen.
Okay.
All right, because it would cost less money. You say free book, people are like, bet, give me the free book. I'm like, all right, pay shipping, which covered the cost of shipping and to cover the cost of the book for myself. So it was like you're getting free leads.
Okay.
All right, so it's like, all right, cool, we're bringing people closer to us. It really doesn't cost them. Then get this book in more people's hands, bet. And the third time I was like, I want to do something different. And we had our bigger event we were bringing back because COVID kind of crushed that when it was, we weren't allowed that many people in a room and people didn't feel safe about going in a room with that many people. So it's like, how can I sell this event? And I was writing a book at the time, and this is like the book that's going to change the world, in my opinion, right? Like it's going to change for business owners and entrepreneurs. Right? It's like we walked through the system exactly how we built what we built in the different spaces we built it, and with the different clients we built it, from 7+ figures back down to zero, how we did it. Right? So if you follow it, there's some sort of blueprint here. You can make your own and feel it aligns with you, but there's themes across the way that you can follow, principles. And I was like, how many people have bought a book that's like over $1,000? All right, and everybody was like, never. I was like, right. I never bought a book that was that expensive. I was like, how about we sell a book for over $1,000? I was like, that'll be cool marketing.
Yeah.
All right.
They're like, what is this book if it's $1,000?
And I like failed third grade. It took me like 5 years to graduate high school. I didn't graduate college, right? Like, so I'm like, you say you wrote a book and then sold it for over $1,000. It's like, wow, hold on. If I could do that, anybody can do anything they want. You just have to be creative. So we sold a book. The first book we sold was $1,200. Then we went up to $1,500 for the next 20. Then we went up to $2,000 for the next 25. Then we went up to $2,500 for a couple, and then $3,000 for a couple. So we sold a book up to $3,000.
Even the 3,000?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
I sold 2 books for $3,000.
So
Isn't that
cool.
crazy?
What the heck?
We brought in over 6 figures from a book, which normally you only do that if you're like number 1 on like USA Today or something, right?
What year was this when you did that? Do you remember?
This year.
This year you did
the end of last year and then the beginning of this year. We had the event in April. So what I did was in the book, I put 2 tickets to an event. We put your hotel room in it. Right, we put a party to a celebration of life with a DJ and live music and a stand-up comedian. All right, so we put all these things in the book. The only way to get all of them was to buy the book.
That is so cool. So did you say that it could have been in there, or did you? It was like a surprise, like where people.
No. So what we said was buy the book, and if you buy the book, you get this stuff, right? So this is included in the offer.
Okay.
So it was like a package.
cool.
So, but
That
you
is
have to buy
so
the book.
cool.
You could not buy a ticket to the event.
That is like a great example of not even good customer service, but just like really caring about the process of it for a consumer, like going outside.
Right.
I don't want to say the box. So how else do I say it? But just being really creative on that consumer like process. Cause that is like, who does that? That's so cool. Like for, well, first off, just the price of the book would have made me want to buy. I'm like, I want it. Like, what's so cool about I have to have
buying
it?
this book.
Do you have Afterpay?
No,
can I
people
pay?
and I wouldn't get a text from Megan. It's like, you want to go halfers on the book?
Yeah. Let's try and get these tickets.
You get 2
That's so
tickets to the
cool.
event. Yeah.
That is so cool.
And then by putting the 2 tickets to the event, they had to find the other person. So it took the responsibility off of us of selling another ticket and finding another body for the seat. They did it.
Nice.
So there was a lot of good things to it, but it was like how to be different selling a book. So now we sold 6 figures worth of a book.
Did you know
Hasn't
who that
released yet.
person was? Like, were you able to go like find who exactly that person was for the $3,000? Like, I would have been like,
I had
thank you, sir.
I had a target list kind of.
That's so cool.
So I started with some really warm people that I knew would probably do it at the 1,000 to 2,000 range. I started with them. And what's crazy is that we actually 38 first people we talked to all said yes. We didn't have a no until 39.
That's amazing.
Quick question. Do I know them?
Yeah. You know a
We'll
lot
talk
of them.
later.
Yeah, you know a lot of them.
It's like me. I'm like, surprise.
I bought it. I bought my own book for 3,000.
It counts.
All right.
That's still a sale.
People got fun. 2 Comic Club awards by selling their own house.
I love that.
Did you buy it at cost or with the margin on it?
I bought it with the margin on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a way to use creativity and imagination to build something. How about
and cash flow?
Cash flow, yeah.
That was what we really wanted to expand our cash flow at the time because we wanted to make an investment
Reinvest.
into growing.
I love that.
So we needed some cash flow to flow in to do so.
So that was just before I kind of jumped into the.
That was right around the time that
You missed your chance to get the book.
I sent you a weird email. You were doing something. I actually tried to get you there, but you were going somewhere else.
Oh, that was it.
Yep.
When my aunt.
Oh, got it.
It was Nashville.
Oh,
Right?
that wasn't too long ago.
No, that was April.
Yeah.
This past year.
Yeah, I would have been there.
No,
Creativity and imagination. How about solving a problem within? I know
Using creativity to solve his problem, I guess, was you were looking for
Cash
cash
flow was the
flow.
problem.
So he's
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So that's
We
what
got
I'll
it.
take
was
it.
trying to
One
say.
Yeah,
answer,
yeah.
2 questions. That's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something that's very near and dear to your heart and about your foundation. I want you to tell us what you and your mom are doing and just.
So we have the Joseph Patrick Fabber Memorial Foundation. It's named in honor of my brother. We have a bunch of free services for everyone. There's no paid employees of the foundation. Every dime that goes to the foundation goes to the cause. That's something that I truly believe in. So I have a fun. I don't love nonprofits that pay staff 7 figures. Right. I learned this the hard way when I was taking over the foundation. I was like, let me go study from other foundations, see what they do, how they do it. Let me see what I like. Right. Let's figure out the system. And everyone I went to, the cars in the parking lot were so expensive. I was like, how the hell is this nonprofit?
Yeah.
Right. You could definitely tell they make a profit. So I didn't want that to be what we did. And we offer free services from everywhere from 3-year-olds. My mother's one of the only ones in Sussex County that's certified in play therapy. So for every there from 3, we have a prep program, which is promote reading and enthusiasm in preschoolers. And that actually goes to 3rd grade, works on self-confidence because the better we think we are, the more we'll act with confidence. All these things is to end self-induced behavior and suicide, bullying, and create a drug-free environment.
Okay.
And then we have EGALA, which is equine assistant therapy. We have counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists at hand for anyone that needs it. We get free mental health evals. Literally from any A to Z, whatever you need, we pretty much have or know someone that can do it and get it for you for mostly nothing, typically.
That's awesome.
I don't want to say always.
So how would someone go about finding you guys online?
Yep, we're everywhere. Our numbers are posted. And the foundation's on social media sites as well. So you can find us or just reach out to me. My cell phone number's posted. So
That's awesome.
And we'll put the information as part
absolutely.
of when we release this. But
we need to hear.
how does the equine part of this tie into this?
So EGALA is right now the most effective way to work with PTSD and trauma. It's groundwork, so it's not like you're riding a horse, even though we try to act like we're Yellowstone up there.
I love Yellowstone.
Right.
I have to get into Yellowstone bandwagon. I have not yet.
Oh, you're gonna.
So your mom and I have been talking about it, but then we have our 13-year-old who.
Yeah, you gotta wait till she's asleep.
Yeah.
And he thinks he doesn't
Yeah.
go to sleep. I'm like,
Yeah.
can you go to sleep, please?
Right. They call us the Duttons of Delaware. Where we are.
I love that.
Right, the Duttons of Delaware, because we just have this 26-acre horse farm and no one knows what the hell we do there. And especially with troops, soldiers, a horse can feel you. So it can mimic your feeling to you, like it understands you without you communicating. And that's easier for people that have been through trauma and PTSD to be able to then feel heard and seen to start making progress. So that's why Gal is so effective, and that's why we started using it.
That's so cool.
I did not know that. That is huge.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I wasn't a big horse guy, so even though I have a horse farm, my daughter loved. The reason why we got a horse farm, my daughter loved horses for 10 days.
For 10 days.
So I bought a horse farm.
That sounds actually.
Yep, got 12 horses, and then she was like, "I really don't like horses
what do we
anymore."
do with these horses now?
I was like, "Bet." Well, now we have
love that.
10, 12 horses, 2 donkeys, 7 goats, 10 dogs. Got a couple animals.
I think it's really important in in business to be open about your mental health, and I feel like a lot of business owners think that has to be separate. But if you can really find your community through just being open about hardships that you've gone through in your past, do you feel like you use past situations even currently, like when you're teaching, and like you just keep bringing them up and like sharing that?
We you said it. I think a lot, it's like the Instagram lifestyle. I made a post about this yesterday, making fun of people. People get upset. We try to act like everything's perfect, like we got everything together. Because God forbid if we don't, right? Like, is anyone going to buy from us if they think that we don't have it all together? And it just comes across now as like BS, right? Like when someone acts perfect, you know they're not. So I'm like, what are you hiding, right? It's like you're the human form of potpourri. Like you're just trying to flagrant shit. Right?
I'm going to use that.
Can
I use that?
Yeah, 100%.
We're quoting that.
Right? And so with me, one, I really want to show my struggles, and I want to empower others to know that their struggles is what's going to help make you. Right? Like our story is our superpower. There's no one been through what you've been through the way you've been through it. And we all have our own. Like hard is hard. I always say when people like try to compare hard. Like, he didn't go through this. I had it harder. I'm like, all right, just so we know, the chemical released inside of us is the same.
Yeah.
Like stress, same chemical released. Heartbreak, same chemicals released. Whatever, if it's the biggest heartbreak or regular heartbreak, I don't know, whatever you call it.
Heartbreak.
It's
Yeah,
still heartbreak.
absolutely.
Your body doesn't signify the difference. The chemical release is the same. So we've all been through it. So why don't we not try to cover it up, hide it, and sweep it under the rug like we did for so long? And let's just be very real and honest about it. Because then we all know we can go on from it and things can happen. Like if someone knows you've been through everything you've been through and yet still you are here doing your thing,
you're like, wow,
they can.
I can do that too.
Right.
Like it's more relatable. And I feel like as a consumer, I would want to support someone knowing their hardships and knowing they're not perfect. I stray away from the like those cookie cutter.
Right.
It gives me a
gurus?
not a good vibe. Yeah. So
Polished. I'm anti-polished.
So if you're listening and you feel like you have to, fit into this box, like how you thought originally when you were trying to name it, you're like, well, it has to be me. Well, it doesn't. Like it's whatever works for you, whatever you like. And like people are going to see you through your business and your brand 100%. And everything.
I used to wear a suit every day.
No way.
With a vest and a beard.
Oh my gosh.
A lot less.
I mean, Megan, he did look quite handsome.
I had a pocket watch. True story.
Little flip.
I like that.
My dad left me a pocket watch.
Watches.
It was the only thing he left me when he passed, so I wore it all the time. It was, remember, humble beginnings where I came from.
That's cool.
And it actually worked. Like,
they're
like, don't even work. Like, shut up.
Brent, have you seen the pocket watch?
Yep.
Awesome. I want to see the pocket watch next time. I want to see the pocket watch.
Yep.
We had a few questions we wanted to
ask.
Okay.
All right. I wrote these down. No, we typed these up, people.
Friend's nervous.
We're very adamant on the podcast to tell, like, if we're sharing something, like, people should write things down. I don't know if you share that in your group too. Like, I feel if you don't write it down, it's not gonna stick. Like, you gotta do that.
I learned early. Leaders are readers, and leaders are note takers. I'm an old guy, so my memory is starting to. But even when my memory was better, I wrote things down. My mom always, because there's a psychology behind it, right? So
100%. You should write, say, and hear. So what I would do is I write it. Right, I'm just glad I wasn't there. I write it, I say it into my voice recorder, and then I play my voice recorder back. So then your body took in the three ways of learning.
Do you have like a bunch of audios on your phone? You just say it? That's great. That's a great idea.
Because I'm a king for forgetting. All right, so I have to do that in order for not to forget. And then you know how many times I don't do it because how often I forget.
I got last Christmas a waterproof notepad that goes in your shower.
Yep. I have one of those.
I highly suggest everyone get one. So if you get a random idea that you can just...
All right, that's awesome. The shower is a great place for ideas.
It's really cool.
And when you're driving, when you're squatting, it's like, so you have to have a writing implement, something to capture that idea because it's going to go away. It's going to go away.
Thankfully, we have phones now that have notes, but in the shower, it's
And when all else fails, surround yourself around people that are going to remind you of things that you should know. It's like, you know.
Or at least things they want you to know.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, I don't remember that, but okay, I'll believe you. But then they can totally manipulate the whole. Right. So here we go. We're going to start with a personal question.
Great. Love personal
the glasses.
More official this way. What's the best compliment that Michael Fabber has ever gotten?
Oh, man, that's hard. You look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm kidding. I
feel like you just shared this though on your about some feedback you've been getting.
That I'm folky?
Yeah. No, not that.
I was going to say, best compliment. I'm very folky. I for a long time in my life, I thought my heart was ugly because I did ugly things. Right. So greatest compliment I have, I mean, other than my daughter and my mom saying something nice about me, anything that I'll take, but is that I have a good heart.
It's a great compliment.
Yeah, I'll take that. I need to do that.
We're our worst critics, so hearing that is like, wow.
Well, I will agree with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. But yeah, that's the thing. You're welcome.
If you're not watching the video, my dad's pretending to cry.
Yeah, that's the.
That's the true man. That's true.
That's something that's big to me now because I have a lot of making up to do. So working on it.
All right, so let's switch a little more lighter question.
All right.
Whimsical, off the wall question. Megan, type these out.
Yeah.
Whimsical. I have never said the word whimsical until right now.
I thought that was part of the
What's
question.
Whimsical?
I was like, what's that? Yeah.
What is?
I was like, explain this to me. Remember, I failed third grade.
If you could have, this says coffee, but I'm going to replace that glass of whiskey.
Ooh, nice.
With any historical figure, who would you choose?
All right, so now like historical, like not my family. Like historical, like.
It's up to you, whatever.
Whoever, it's fine.
Someone you.
There's no wrong answer here. It's just, it could be historical to you. It could, in general, just.
All right, so I'll do two parts to try to stay true to your question. Abraham Lincoln would be my historical person.
Okay.
Like it.
Right, just for what he stood against, when he stood against it, knowing that he would probably have to pay the ultimate price for it. I'm like, all right, dope, man. I want to hear how you had that kind of, that grounding.
Right.
Right, to be willing to die for what you believe in. Like, that's something strength to me that I'm like, I don't know if I got, and I don't know how you find out. And the other one, I always say my pops or my brother, just because I lost my brother when I was younger. I lost my pops when I was younger. So just to be able to sit here and be like, yo, did I do good? Right? Like to hear your pops say, proud of you. Right? It's like, yeah, it's like, that's something like I never got. And when my pops died, he wasn't proud of me. Like I wasn't someone to be proud of. So I'm like, now I'm different. So I'm like, I would like to see what he had to say. Plus, dude was brilliant. So, and I didn't respect that when I was younger, but now I respect brilliance. So I would love to see that and just hear that conversation.
I love that. Great answer.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Oh,
You're doing amazing things.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Appreciate that.
I'm trying to get you in the middle of all this, the family. You're in my family, and you're going to be in this family. This is
yeah.
And blue and green are nice colors.
Yeah, they're good colors.
They go with our teal.
Right,
we got our teal going.
Okay, this one is up your alley. It's an industry expertise question.
Good. Better than up your ass.
What is a common...
Sorry, when you started, I was like, whoa.
Not that one.
Saying it was a bad joke. Got it.
What's the other one?
I think it's the bottom right.
This is the producer.
Or no, that's for the whimsical question.
I have to write these
nice,
down.
Perfect timing. No.
One more?
One more, try it. We use that on him a lot.
This is what happens when
crickets?
I speak. So, okay, here it is.
Turn it off.
Oh, got it.
All right, last one?
Last one.
Okay.
You know what she's doing?
Yeah.
She's good
Ending
at
the
it.
show.
She's really good.
He's
Okay.
like, wrap it up.
What is a common myth about your field of expertise?
Oh, I like this question.
God.
And debunk it right now.
Debunk it, because we are not about the status quo here. We're here to debunk and break any of the walls We love circles,
no
not
box.
squares or boxes.
There's no box. There's no walls.
Enter Michael Fabber.
I'm nervous. What is a common myth in our space? Jeez. God, that's a good question. How do I want to answer this?
The world is waiting for the answer.
Right? I'm doing good salting right now.
No pressure.
All right, I'm delaying, trying to figure out how I want to say it.
Megan, we need to put the Jeopardy music.
I
here.
was
Right?
just thinking
That is a good
I was
one.
absolutely
That would
just
be
thinking.
good.
I'm on it. Add it to my list.
So I think one of the biggest myths in our business, and it's because people sell it in our space, which sucks. All right, it's against our space. God, there's so many here I want to talk about. I want to talk about this one. I'm getting okay with myself right now. I'm like, say more.
Don't hold back. This is not a place to hold back.
It's the one which one do I want to say? The myth is we sell the bells and whistles, but that's not what sells. Right? We sell, you need your email list, you need your website, right? You need to, and I'm not saying you don't, but when we're doing this, we're killing entrepreneur space because we're selling it in the wrong order. We're selling it to people that don't need it yet. They don't know what it is yet. They don't know what it means yet. They don't know how it's going to help them yet. They don't know who they help yet. They don't know how they help them. Right? There's things to an email list to be effective. You need to know some things. For a website to be effective, you need to know some things. For an ad to be effective, you need to know some things. But here's the deal. We want people's money, right? People do. And so they're like, hey, pay me to help you with ads. You know how many people lost their ass on ads, right? Because they're not ready for it. It's not what they need yet. They don't have a proven offer. And to have a proven offer, you need all these other things. But an ad is a magnifying glass, right? It just shines something closer for people to be able to buy from you. If they're not buying it, it's not going to work, right? It doesn't matter how much money you put behind something, it won't sell it. It sells, and then you put money behind it. So I think we're destroying the entrepreneur space because we're killing people and taking the money that they have that they'll need to develop beforehand before they need the bells and whistles that you're trying to sell or push. And it's going to take integrity in our space to change that and be willing to say you're not ready to pay me money yet. And I don't think a lot of people in our space are willing to do that at this point. I think they're money hungry people, right?
Yeah, because a lot of times when someone's investing in something like that, that they're like taking their last dime because they need this next step to really, it's like this or not, or they're
100%.
done. So like when people take advantage of that, it's terrible.
Right.
It goes against the whole point of it.
Right.
Totally. And then the trail of destruction that leaves in that person's life is sometimes unsurmountable. They cannot recover from it
100%.
monetarily. And I've seen that happen. And I've been part of that in some capacity before, where the promise and the offer is like, wow, so sexy and so sweet. And then you go and then it's empty.
100%. A lot of people now are using, I love guarantees. You know, I have the make a buck guarantee, right? Whatever you spend with me in 30 days, if you want it back, I'll give you that in $1. You made $1. So you will not lose money with me.
I love that.
All right. Now, what happens is people start doing now where money back regardless. But in the fine print, it's like you have to do everything I said to do the way I said to do it. And if you don't do it that way, you don't get your money back.
I see.
So I'm like, now you're just BSing a guarantee. That's not really the guarantee. So the space I'm in is full of BS. That's why when you ask the question, I'm like, there's so many things I want to address. But I think if we bring some integrity back to the space about how we serve who we serve, I think that'll cure a lot of it.
And what makes Unleash stand out in that field then? Like, what do you feel makes you guys?
Oh, we're very selective.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, we don't work with everyone. We turn people away all the time.
It's very important.
Yeah, I want people to be served, but also we have to know that there are people, right? Like, why is our community held so high? And people literally join. They're like, I don't care about your business advice. I'm like, thanks. Right? He's one of them. He's like, you don't have to tell me anything about business. Watch your mouth. I'm like, okay. Right? He's like, but it's a family, and we do that because we protect our space. Like,
yeah.
I used to be a fighter. I used to like to fight.
He's a lover now.
I wasn't good at it.
Get that good heart.
By the 5 teeth I have left, you can tell I wasn't good at it. But I used to love doing it. And because there's something about protecting yours. Right? There is something about there needs to be something worth dying for in your life because that makes you live.
That why, that purpose.
Right? That's something where you're like, I will suffer for this. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and I know with your pops, the way he talks about his family, he'll suffer for his family. Right? And he has, and he's willing to go through things for his family. And that's one of the reasons why I love him is that I'm like, bet, because in that arena, I know he'll fight.
Yeah.
Right? And I need to know you're going to be in an arena fighting for something other than just your greed.
Yeah. And if you're, for who's listening, that I'm glad you mentioned that about like, because I feel, especially for baby businesses, they just feel like they have to take everyone, but that's not necessarily true. Not everyone is for you, and it's okay to turn down people if it's not clicking.
Right.
Like
it's totally okay.
No matter how far into your business, you don't have to hit a certain level to be able to say no to someone.
100%. I almost quit this business. I almost quit because we built something I hated. And that's why now I protect it so much that they're like, you got to calm down. Like, they're okay. Like,
I love the fire.
He gets all worked up.
Yeah, it's great.
But good worked up. Good worked up.
Protecting your space is key because it's going to what makes it last. One person can cause a whole lot of damage anymore, especially with social media. The wrong person can cause a whole lot of damage to what you're doing and what you're about and what you're trying to do. So the better you protect that space, the less likely it is that person gets close enough to do so.
It took a few extra noogies for me to let me in. I was like, come on, Michael, come on.
Try to bring me to Starbucks.
I
don't go there.
Red flag number one.
Ding on the hobby.
You're like, Red Robin? I'm like, all right, we'll do that.
Red Robin.
I'll take a burger. That was the first day I met you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I remember that story.
Red Robin.
I didn't forget that.
Yum.
All right, free plug. They can pay you for sponsorship now.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Hashtag, you remember hashtag.
Oh, yeah.
At time. Well, I think we're in a good place. I could sit here all day, and you got people to see, places to go.
No.
But it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm ecstatic to let. There's going to be people listening to this that know you already, but there's going to be people that don't know who you are, what you're about, what UnleashU Now is about, and that's why I'm excited also to do this. This is my little commercial about this. Check them out, UnleashU Now. They have a huge digital footprint. You can find them.
We'll scatter it all over. I was trying to help you.
Yeah, I finally got to watch when day one, and I was watching, and literally my notebook just full. I was like, oh, there's so much good here, and the people like that alone is a huge incentive.
That's huge.
That is huge.
That alone is worth it.
Yeah,
100%.
Yes, it is.
I wanted to say thank you guys for letting me come on. You guys are an amazing show. And you're amazing people. So
thank you for being our first guest. Right. I hope you like your Yeti.
You guys made it very
Thank
easy.
you.
Oh, it's great. No, you guys do a great job. So I've been on a lot of podcasts. I don't know if I've been on one better. So thank you. I appreciate you guys for bringing me on.
We're all crying.
Don't tell Bobby.
Could you give the audience your where to find you? Where's best for them to?
You can find me on any social media site. It's either going to be under Michael Fabber or the coach, Mike Fabber. The coach was from basketball.
Spell your last name for them.
Fabber.
There you go.
All right. The Fabber. I'm a real MFer. Because my initials.
Oh, I love that. I saw that on Facebook. I thought that was so smart.
Is that awesome?
You got to make it merch. Seriously.
We got to do it.
But and for those of you listening, thank you for listening to today's podcast with our first guest. And like always,
Megan,
go create something.
Go create something.